and I am an admissions counselor here at William Peace University, and we also have Cassandra Fishback, one of our financial aid officers here with us. So thank you for joining us. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So our agenda for today, so we're going to talk about number one, financial aid, scholarships, some of the biggest takeaways, and then we're going to take some of your questions. So paying for college, there are so many ways that you can pay for college. Number one of those things is scholarships. So you can get those from colleges and other sources, outside sources that you can research on Google or even ask your counselors about that. Grants, which is given to you, which we'll discuss later. Work study, savings, loans, and payment plans. So these are some of the ways you can pay for college, and we're going to discuss further along in the presentation. So what is the FAFSA? FAFSA is the free application for federal student aid. Each year students need to fill out a FAFSA to apply for federal grants, work study, and federal loans. Your school will use your data from FAFSA to determine your eligibility and how you will be awarded. So we'll discuss a little bit more about all that you are able to be awarded further along in the presentation. So did you know that financial aid? Oh, go ahead.
Okay, sorry, Ansley. I know I'm like jumping in. Okay, so some financial aid, I didn't know if some of you knew this, but it is first come, first serve. So it is best to get your FAFSA in as early as possible. This gives you more financial aid opportunities, and it gives you more time to compare any financial aid packages you might receive if you're applying to multiple institutions. So that gives you a chance to see which one would be the right fit for you financially. The FAFSA for the upcoming 21-22 school year is already open. So go ahead and get that done as soon as possible if you haven't already done so, and turn it in using William Peace's school code, which you can find on our website. So there are different kinds of aid, as Ansley stated. So gift aid is probably what I'd like to call the most important. Grants and scholarships are examples of gift aid, and your FAFSA results allow us to determine your eligibility for grant and scholarship programs, both federal and institutional. So these funds are referred to as gift aid because you do not have to pay the amount you receive back. So a Pell Grant is an example of federal gift aid. There are also state grants available. The North Carolina Need-Based Scholarship is a state grant that's available to residents of North Carolina. Residency is determined using the Residency Determination Service, and this action needs to be completed before any estimated awarded North Carolina Need-Based Scholarship funds can be certified and applied to your bill. So the Residency Determination Service, it's quick, it's easy, but it's something that does need to be done to make you eligible for the North Carolina Need-Based Scholarship. You just log in. It asks you for some information. I think it asks you, obviously, your address, and it'll ask you for your driver's license and things like that. So that will determine whether or not the state of North Carolina deems you as a resident. And if you get a return thing saying that you're not, you can contest it. People that have moved here recently and want to be considered a resident may not always get residency, but you can appeal. And you can also wait. So if you're not considered a resident your freshman year, you may be considered a resident further down the line. So if it's been a year since you filled it out the last time and you weren't deemed a resident, go ahead and fill it out again the next year and become eligible for that grant. So the Golden Leaf Scholarship is one of many scholarships that might be available to you. This one is also based on residency. You have to be a North Carolina resident. So eligibility is first-year students who plan to attend any of the participating North Carolina colleges and universities, and we are a participating campus, and they need to reside in a qualifying county and demonstrate financial need. So the demonstration of financial need will come from your FAFSA results. And then qualifying counties, there is a list of qualifying counties, and you can find that on cfnc.org. But the award amount, it's $3,000 a year, and it's renewable for 4 years. So you'd end up getting a total of $12,000. The Golden Leaf Foundation funds this scholarship, and they award it to North Carolina students from rural tobacco dependent counties. And you can apply by going to cfnc.org and fill out the application form, or you can call them for assistance too. So that scholarship actually has a deadline coming up of March 1st. So you got about 2 months to go ahead and take care of that. Okay, so outside scholarships are also a way to pay for school. So they can be a great way to get the cost of school down. There are all kinds of outside scholarships out there that you can apply to be considered for. So some examples of scholarships, they can be based on religious affiliations, military affiliations. There are scholarships that are specifically for teaching majors, business majors, all kinds of specific majors. Family circumstances can also make you eligible for certain scholarships, and there are so many more. Apply often, apply early. You never know what you might end up getting, and apply to as many scholarships as possible. This gives you more chances to receive an opportunity. William Peace has recently partnered with iGrad as well, and they have a scholarship search that's available to prospective students too. So that is an option for you guys to check out that search engine as well. And federal work study. So federal work study is a big one. We have a lot of work study students here at Peace. It provides students a part-time job while you are enrolled in school. So these jobs can be on campus or off campus, depending on employers that we partner with. Your total work study award will depend on your need, again, based on your FAFSA, when you apply, and the level of funding that we've received. Undergraduate work study jobs are paid hourly. You will determine your hours by working with your work study supervisor once you find a position. You can't work so much that you exceed your work study award, and you'll be paid by your school at least monthly. So some examples of work study jobs that we have at Peace: some people work in the admissions department, financial aid has students, the library, tutoring, the athletic department, public safety. We have someone that works in the mail room. There's all kinds of things that you can do and work just that kind of fit your interests or maybe your future goals. And then loans. So loans are a big one too. There are different types of loans. Federal direct student loans are broken into 2 categories. Subsidized is the first one. So in order to receive a direct subsidized loan, you need to demonstrate need. And again, based on your FAFSA. So the federal government pays interest on these loans while you're enrolled in school at least half time, which would be 6 hours or more, during periods of deferment or forbearance, and during your 6-month grace period after graduation. So loan amounts are based on both need and grade level. Freshmen have a level, sophomore have a level, and then junior and up have a level. So if you're eligible for subsidized loans, your amount will go up yearly until you hit that junior year. And then unsubsidized loans. So for these, you do not need to demonstrate need. Loan amounts are solely based on grade level as determined by our office. And interest does accrue on these loans while you are in school. Also, if you find yourself needing more funding after you take advantage of your federal loans, if you choose to do so, private loans can also be utilized by students if you would like to do so. Typically speaking, for private loans, the student themselves may need to demonstrate creditworthiness or obtain a cosigner. Interest rates may also be higher for private loans than federal loans. Some of them are getting pretty good and the interest rates look good, but typically speaking, you can't beat a federal loan. But we actually just partnered with a company called Elm Select as well. So you will now be able to go on and compare private loans on our Elm Select page and kind of pit them against each other and see the details. if you're shopping for a private loan, that just makes it kind of a one-stop comparison shop there for you. And then Parent Plus loans. We get a lot of questions about these. So if you find yourself still needing additional funds to pay for school after you've exhausted your gift aid and your federal student loans, and you're not interested in a private student loan, your parents can apply for a federal Parent Plus loan to help you pay for your studies. So the amount of plus loan your parent is eligible to apply for is determined by the financial aid office, and it will be a part of your package. And it can go up to the cost of attendance after all other aid is applied. So the application for the Parent Plus loan includes a credit check. If you're approved for the Parent Plus loan, you can designate whether any resulting credit balance is paid to the student or to you. You can also request a deferment while your student is in school, and you can request an additional deferment for up to 6 months after the student ceases to be enrolled at least half time as well. And if you apply for the Parent Plus loan, or your parent applies for the Parent Plus loan and they are denied, that makes the student eligible to receive an additional amount of unsubsidized loan based on grade level. And then the special circumstance. This has been a big one this year. We've gotten tons of questions about it, and it's important for y'all to know. So since the FAFSA is based on what we call the prior tax year, for example, the FAFSA for the 21-22 school year will be based on 2019 tax information. So if your circumstances have changed, the Office of Financial Aid can review a request to be considered for special circumstances. So like examples of special circumstance considerations include death, loss of income, job change, job loss, divorce, or separation. So if your 2019 taxes show that you're married, filing jointly, and you're both employed, obviously if you get a divorce, one of you loses your job, your income is going to be different. And we understand that. So if that's a situation you find yourself in, please contact our office and let us know. The forms are not ready yet for the 21-22 school year, but we do keep a list of people that have requested a special circumstance. So that way, when the forms are ready, we can go ahead and send them your way. So just shoot us an email if you're interested in that. And then, so tips and takeaways. You and your parent may want to create your FSA ID earlier than you plan to fill out the FAFSA. In the past, it could take up to 3 days for your FSA ID to be available for use. So if you haven't already done that, go ahead and do that. They are way better now. It's usually ready instantaneously, but just in case, it's always better to be prepared. So, and we always recommend that you submit your FAFSA to any and all schools that you plan on applying to. That way you'll be able to compare financial aid packages from each interested in, and look into scholarships of all types and start early. Like I said earlier, the more you apply for, the better chance you have. And ask your admissions counselor for advice too. They're here to help you. We work fairly closely together most of the time. Trying to get you guys set up. We're constantly communicating about our incoming students, so they know a lot of what goes on with us. So they're a great resource for you as well. And then Ansie's going to talk a little bit about the admissions requirements.
Awesome. Thank you, Cassandra. So this is our admissions requirements for us here at William Peace University. First thing, we are rolling admissions, and that means that we do not have a particular deadline for when applications are due, but we also say the sooner the better. Our application is online. It's located on our website. We are not on Common App, so you have to go to our website in order to complete an application. And this year, of course, like mostly all the other colleges and universities, we are having a holistic admissions approach. So that means we are test optional. So you have the option to choose how we review your application. Once you do that, you can just supply us with your official transcript, and if you choose to provide test scores, it's those test scores as well. And our fall 2021 applications are open, so please feel free to, if you have not already, go ahead and complete an application with us. And for those of you who have already been accepted, congratulations. And for those of you who have already started an application but you don't really have a decision yet, please reach out to me. My contact information is on the next slide, to just kind of see, so we can go and review and see what you're missing on your application or what you need to do. So before, let's go out our contact. Yeah, my number is on there, as well as my email, as well as financial aid information. So now we're going to take questions. Please drop all the questions that you have for us in the chat so we can go ahead and answer those for you.
I'm going to place a link in the chat, Ansley, just in case anyone wants to check out that scholarship search engine I talked about.
Yes.
That can be found on cfnc.org, as well as the Golden Leaf Scholarship counties that are eligible. Okay, and I see my son has been admitted and given a merit award. Okay, so financial aid packets for the upcoming fall year. We are starting to get working on rolling those out. You should see those by the end of January. Your packets coming in the mail for you. And I also threw the iGrad link in the chat. They have a scholarship search as well. So if you are not a North Carolina resident, the CFNC scholarship search engine, that's typically for North Carolina residents. A lot of the scholarships are, but iGrad will allow you to go in and search for any iGrad or any outside scholarships, excuse me. And you can filter them by whatever parameters you choose. And that way you can see what might be an option for you and go ahead and apply from there. And that iGrad will also allow you to look at your budget, look at things like that, and it'll explain a lot about the FAFSA and loans. If you have any questions, that is a fabulous resource. So please feel free to take advantage of that.
Yes. So we with you, my son's been submitted his ACT scores, but we'll be taking ACT again. Will a high score affect this merit? Yes. So we do super score. So whenever the ACT provides the score to us, it'll go in and automatically. And sometimes it may move it up or it may not. It depends on the score. But yes, that is a possibility for it to move up. You're welcome.
And I know a lot of times with financial aid and scholarships and loans and things like that, you're not going to have a question right now. You're probably going to have more questions once your financial aid package shows up. So once your packet shows up, please feel free to reach out to us with questions. We always have appointments open if you feel like you need to talk. If you just like a quick phone call, we're more than happy to do that as well. And email is always a great way to get a hold of us too. You usually get a pretty quick response there. So once those packets do come, feel free to reach out with any questions. I know it's always a busy question time when packets go out. So if you don't have any questions now, I'm sure you will. So
any other questions? Oh, she said she didn't get the date for when packets will be mailed. What was that? You said the end of January?
yeah, we're working on getting them out and packed over the next few weeks. So you should see your packet come in the mail either probably the last week of January, that first week of February there. And if you do, Ansley, do they have access to self-service once they're admitted?
No, they have to go ahead and submit their deposit.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, it's either admission or deposit. I couldn't remember.
Yes.
So yeah, your packet, you should expect it late January, very early February. So. All right. I don't see any more questions, Ansley. Does anyone else? No?
Yes. Okay. No other questions? Yes, and I'll go ahead and put, and if you have any more once you get off, I'll go ahead and put our contact information in the, because I know for me, once I get off of webinars, I have questions right after that.
I'll throw the financial aid one in there as well. So, all right.
Yes. Well, thank you all so much for your time on this Saturday. Please feel free to reach out to us for any questions, and thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Have a good weekend.